And we're back with the Chester Sky Show. Today's guest is a returning Tomo Nogi, the filmmaker extraordinaire.
Again, hi.
So do you want the follow-up from that text message exchange with the escort?
Yeah, I hope you made some progress on that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So for the listeners, last time on the podcast, we started discussing interesting conversations that you run into at dating apps. And one of these people we ran into on a dating app was an escort of a different type of escort. This kind of escort, she said she wanted an allowance in addition to pay per meeting. And she didn't say what she offered. She just said that before you even consider anything else, you have to know these are the rates. You have to pay for an allowance and you have to pay for a meet. And so we were like, you know what? Let's find out the prices. Let's see where this goes. So I asked, and we got a response. And on the dating app, we have Princess's raids. Apparently that's her name, Princess.
Surprisingly common name, actually.
It does seem to be common, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not that uncommon.
Let's see if we can find these screenshots. Here we are. So the rate for Princess, who charges allowances, is this is her rating, not ours. Per meet is 300 to 400. My rent is 1,800, and I live on my own. So you need to be comfortable as I have expenses for school. My allowances in the past have been for 2,000 to 4,000. Here's the other factor is that it's still illegal in Toronto. So that's got to increase the rate when you think about it, right? Now there's a risk factor of going to jail. So that's got to make the price higher.
Sure. But again, that's the good point. That's where her magic word, allowance, and meet up. It was just meeting up. Nothing much. How would people find out? Unless you actually go out. You're not going to do that.
Well, the other thing is that these apps are not private. These are not like secured. It's like, I mean, if let's say someone actually were to track down and they wanted to do that, it's pretty easy to do it. The Hinge or whatever the dating app is, I forget which one is, OkCupid or something. They have all this information.
Yeah.
If a police ask for it, they're going to give it to them.
Sure, I see what you're saying. But you haven't met, though.
True.
You haven't said yes at all. You're just asking questions.
We'll just keep throwing them along the way. Well, as far as we know, the princess is a man. We don't know. We don't know. This is a photo. Who knows what this person actually is?
Yeah.
This isn't the only offer that you receive on the apps. There's a whole bunch of people on these apps asking.
Oh, sure.
I encountered another one where this one was even less secretive. They just straight on the photo, there's word descripts that said, "I am escort."
That's pretty honest. Like the one that I've been having recently is this girl from Philippines, and in the beginning she was kind of like responsive in a human way. Like say, hey, how's it going? Like I like your photography, and what kind of photos do you enjoy taking? And she goes, hi, well, I love nature, fine. And conversation goes on, and then you want to meet up next month? You want to meet up next week? She goes, yeah, sure. Good morning.
The hell? Oh, I see. Next day.
No, it's the same time. Yeah, sure. Good morning.
Oh, maybe it's one of the things you sent to the wrong person.
Maybe. Okay, so then I asked, okay, cool. So what's your availability next week? Possibly daytime? She goes, yeah, sure.
Okay, that's still okay, right?
It's not what's your availability next week? Possibly daytime.
Oh, that's what it
sure.
is.
Ooh. All right. And then, okay. Actually, she lives in Japan. She's been working in Japan for a long time. Maybe she prefers to speak in Japanese. Maybe because some people are better at Japanese than English. I asked, hey, do you prefer to speak in Japanese by any chance? And she goes, sometimes. All right. That's a good answer. Maybe. And hi, good morning. Are you free next Friday? And she goes, good morning. Next Friday I have work. Good answer. Fine. Any other day? I asked. And she goes, hi.
Yeah, I get those too a lot of the time, and it doesn't make any sense.
And then, okay, then I thought, okay, well, sorry, what do you mean? And she goes, good morning.
Yeah, well, here's my theory. My theory is that there's 30 guys. That's my theory. So she's not even paying attention to anyone. She's like, I just got to say something to these people.
But she doesn't, though. She doesn't have to do it at all.
No, she doesn't. But I think there's too many offers. So she's like, just keep them going. I'll pick whatever later.
Yeah, I mean, if it's always if it's like this from the beginning, then I understand it's some maybe probably shitty AI. But it's like, well, maybe it still is a shitty AI. I don't know.
It's an AI experimenting with humans for the first time on a dating app.
Yeah, because we are in the transitional period. We get some shitty stuff. Like,
that's a good point. Why could we not have AIs on dating apps? Why is that? Of course you can. You can have dating apps on video games. Or not dating. You can have AI on video games. Of course you can have AI on dating apps.
Yeah.
Just throwing out words. Trying to get a date. Yeah, why not?
Because actual escort does not have to be responding to this at all, right?
What do you mean?
Because if an escort is responding to this, then a pimp has to pay for her for that maybe time. So if like there's a company to manage these escort services, then in long term maybe it makes sense for them financially to have an AI responding to all these chats and probably book the time and then send the actual human escorts, right?
AI for escort service.
Yeah, I think we are in this transitional period now. Like, you know how you go to customer service and then you clearly see your AI responding to your chat.
Yeah.
Right? Like on the Virgin Mobile, for example, or Adobe Premiere.
Yeah, you're right.
Customer service on the chat.
That's a good point. Why would that not be a thing? Yeah, that should be. Well, maybe not should, but that would be a thing.
Yeah. Because again, like if escort is responding a human, then it's too
effort.
It's too much. Yeah,
it takes time. You got to deal with a lot of wasted effort texting.
And if like most likely it's your case too, like you're the princess, like if she's responding, like she sends all these message, like, as I got many guys ask, hey, how much, you don't spend it copy and paste all the time. If the AI can do that. Because as soon as she offers that, she gives that offer, by the way, I charge you this. The response is either yes, how much, or hey, that's weird, right? And AI can figure out easy, right? And I guess we are in that transitional period now, I suppose.
And then the next one is AI for hitman.
Maybe.
The AI for assassination.
But AI for hitman sounds more like specific and complicated.
Escort's generic service.
Less demands. But escort seems to be more general. You just, you fuck. That's it, right? You don't. And how you fuck is up to the human interaction after you meet up. But like how you meet up there.
Very common commodity. Doesn't require specialized skill.
There has to be some easy tendency that algorithm can easily decipher. It's easy.
No, I see where you're coming from. Yeah, why would that not be a thing in the next little while? Especially now.
Yeah, but again,
especially in this climate.
Clearly, we are in the transitional period because their response doesn't make sense at all sometimes. Like, hey, good morning. Hi.
No, it's true. The text messages, a lot of the time you get those where you're like, so how you doing? Hi. So what's your favorite thing to do? Good morning. Like, what?
Or maybe I'm not reading the between the lines. Maybe much. Like,
I don't think there's any lines.
I like to say good morning. Oh, okay. What's your favorite thing? You're just a legitimately crazy person. Yeah.
Like I used to think maybe it was a translation error where people were like,
perhaps.
But then that doesn't seem likely either, really. It seems unlikely.
It's, yeah. No.
Can't even give the benefit of the doubt over these apps anymore because people have used these apps now. People know how these apps work.
Yeah, it's common enough now. It's spread out. It's like COVID. It's already spread out. Like, yeah.
It seems like there used to be an issue where the problem was you didn't know if the person was real.
Yeah.
But now the issue is we don't know whether the other person actually is using the app for real people, for real purposes. Like the issue used to be you don't know, is this person not even the photo. Now the issue is we don't know if this person is in our country. We don't know if the person is actually interested in dating.
Yeah.
So there's like a whole bunch of other issues now that we have to think about that get in the way.
It's funny though, because I was talking to my friend. She is in Japan. And she's straight. And I asked her, hey, so what are we doing this weekend? And she said, I met someone, a girl, who I met on Bumble. And I just hung out with her. So some people actually do find friends on that kind of app. I guess that depends on the app. So they do it. But even so, though, right? While you're in Mexico, I don't want them to set up their location as Tokyo. It's just confusing enough. And how do we communicate that? We have massive amount of time difference. Like, I don't know. That's funny.
I wonder if there would be like some kind of way to, like, you have to prove that you're actually serious on the app. You don't have to be like, I don't mean like serious long-term relationship, but like you're actually using the app to get something out of it. If there was some kind of way to authenticate to get to that next part.
I think that this is one of the things that when the contents, us, are, oversaturated, this kind of shit happens, right? Like, for example, when Netflix started up, the contents were specific and strictly selected. And it was good. But eventually it gets oversaturated. It gets random almost. And I think it's similar with Tinder or Badoo or Bumble or whatever, right? Every time they make something new, sure, in the beginning, people are, selectively going there to have some purpose.
Yeah.
But eventually it gets common, and then I guess they have to make something new again to refurbish.
Well, there used to be websites where you actually had to pay for the dating service. Do you remember those?
Yeah.
Those are the thing. You had to pay like, I don't know, $30 a month or something, and they would supposedly match you. But I don't know if you've ever tried one of those. I actually tried one of those one time, and I paid for a few months. And what I realized is that people don't use the paid services anymore because they're using the free services.
Yeah.
So even if you pay for the money on the paid one, people aren't using it. So it's no longer useful at all.
Although my friend she was using an app that only guys pay, and that seems to kind of filter out these free whatever guys, right? Only guys who are dedicated to that she can meet up. And she met some good ones. They broke up now, but they were in a pretty long relationship for a while. So that still makes sense to me, though. If you want to be serious, you pay. That's a very logical thing, right?
Yeah. Now you have to deal with men who are so desperate that they're willing to pay for it, though.
Sure, or guys, but at the same time, guys who can afford to do that, right? Then that would tell her some certain...
Yeah, they can afford it, and they can't get it any other way, so they're willing to pay for it. So, I mean, that already filters down to a certain kind of person, though.
I'm not sure. Guys are not paying for everything on the date or anything. Guys are paying for the app only, right? So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, your point is right. At the same time, I see some benefit of using that kind of app.
No, I think you got a point there, because it makes the guys serious. It doesn't make the girls serious, though.
And girls tend to be more serious than guys anyway, though. But at the same time, me saying that made me realize that girls who use that kind of app might be the girls who want to be just paid on the meal or whatever. You know what I mean? You don't want to... Yeah, I don't know.
You're paying to meet. You're paying for the date. Just that date doesn't get the money. The dating service gets the money.
I guess they're paying to use that app. The rest is up to them, supposedly, in theory.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be interesting here because if COVID continues, people really aren't able to meet except with apps. It seems to be the only way you could really meet people now.
Yeah.
But now we also have the issue where people on the apps aren't interested in meeting at all because of COVID. They don't actually, or at least a lot of the people aren't serious.
Yeah.
So you're left with a scenario where you can't meet and you don't know the people who are there if they actually do want to meet as well.
Mm.
So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what comes out of it. I think some things is going to be invented because of this. There's going to be some new apps or websites or something that's going to come created to try and solve this problem.
Like more of like a casual talking, maybe. Like you have to actually like virtually meet up maybe on the app. Like whenever you send message, you have to like send like, hey, how you doing? Maybe like you have to record yourself. Maybe
you can have a Zoom meeting, I suppose.
Yeah.
Not sure how much you get out of that though.
No. I guess it's more like a temporary thing because, like you said, you cannot really meet up. The alternative is just to talk digitally and with video. And the idea is that once COVID is over, you'll be able to meet up if you are connected deeply in that initial conversation. Skip to fucking because you've already established your personality connections. So
it just seemed like it could be a long time. Maybe,
yeah.
You could be just talking on Zoom for like a year. You don't know.
Yeah, but by then that you know a lot about yourself. For some people, that might be a good thing. Because when you meet up, some people feel like they have to make some move, But with that video, you don't have to make moves at all. You can just actually get to know people, no? In a way.
Well, I was having this discussion with Pavel the other day, and it was along the lines of why is the divorce rate like so high? Because it's like nearly 50% in many places.
Yeah.
So, like that kind of says something, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big deal. That's not a small deal. 50% of these, or it depends on the country, but it's still a big number no matter what country you pick, unless it's like Iran. I think Iran was the exception, was 7%. But outside of that, I think it was everywhere is at least 30 to 60 or somewhere in that range.
Japan is like 38, I think.
Oh, really?
The idea of divorce is kind of has a social stigma to it. Or I'm not saying Canada doesn't, but I guess you guys are more progressive on that. Because there are many different types of divorce. Right?
There are?
There are.
How so?
What I meant is that I met someone. She's divorced with her husband now, but they still meet up sometimes, quite often. They just live separately. And legally also they are divorced, but they have a kid and they raise the kid together, but from different houses. Some people divorce totally off, not meeting up anymore. Some people do live off better with that, easily, a much more better way. Before I came, but that's what I saw in Canada. And before I came to Canada or even in New Zealand, I thought divorce is always like just a divorce, and
done forever kind of thing.
Yeah. So that's what I meant. Like there are, in some places, there are many types of divorce being developed just because the rate is so high. Like people try different ways, I think.
Here's my theory, which is here's my uneducated, unexperienced, unqualified theory about this. My theory is that people meet each other because they're attracted to each other.
Yeah.
But my theory is that attraction doesn't last.
Sure. Yeah.
You meet because of lust, but lust doesn't. That's a limited resource that runs out.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help that people don't stay the same age as well. So so we meet for the wrong reasons. That's my theory. Is we're meeting because of lust, but really that should be not the reason we meet.
I mean, I guess that shouldn't be only the reason why we meet, right? That can be one of the reasons, right?
Well, if that's the reason and you don't have anything else, then really, ideally, you should call that off pretty quickly, right? Because it's not gonna. I mean, that's the most likely to end up in divorce because you're gonna run out of attraction, and then what else do you have?
I mean, for example, though, like if you are dating with someone for 10 years, you will see the change, the look, inevitably. And like you said, only the physical attraction wouldn't keep that 10 years relationship. You will know a lot about yourself and herself. And so, spending time is generally good advice, before you get married after like 3 months of dating or something. My friend did that. She was dating a bunch of guys, and she finally met a good one. Good income, nice personality, just security. And after dating for 3 months, she decided, let's marry this guy at age of 22 or 3.
22.
Very young, very young. Because she was having a really difficult time dating someone, dating many people, making her life and all that. But now she regrets a bit because, again, that 3 months were very short. And I think now she's happier now, I think.
Is she still with him?
She is.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, again, like, if you spend a long time, you will know, right? And just signing that paper, making kids, it's a contract, it's a pact, right?
Yeah.
And that gets depressing because you cannot really easily divorce.
Well, it's not really a strict logical thing like a contract is, where this is what it should be and this is what it's written down. Relationship is always this flexible, malleable, changing thing. But we've decided that here's the rule. Once you do the marriage thing, you now have to follow these things, or else then you're in trouble.
Exactly. So that's a commitment, right? It indicates commitment that you have to dedicate to.
Yeah, well, it makes sense when you bring in kids, but it makes sense with that because we really survive. We are a lot better off when you're brought up with 2 parents.
Yeah,
that is a better thing.
But
I
think there's another thing. Like being married seems to have some effect on people. Like you hear some stories that, he used to be really nice. Like I dated for like 4 years, 5 years with him. And once I get married, once we became husband and wife, just things changed. Like he changed a bit, I changed a bit. That kind of story I hear sometimes. Like being married, that would change the being married, that would change the way you see things apparently too, right? Because again, that's a huge amount of burden or commitment. And you can, like, my friend, he married to this beautiful girl. They were in a relationship for a long time. They had spiritual connection, deep one.
Yeah.
But once they got married, it became weird. Like,
how so?
More like he's a musician and he goes around and he sees many people, he sees many girls. But once she got married, now, and also she's also an artist, she's a dancer. And she goes around too, meets many people. But now they are married, just because they're married, they have to like kind of come home. Like, kind of like have to kind of thing contradicted the way they used to live.
They used to living on the road.
Yeah, right? Because they are the way of, they are making arts, expressing themselves. So that idea itself kind of like constrain them a bit, I think, psychologically.
So it seems like there's a lot of celebrity divorces, and I wonder if it's maybe that's the factor is they're not used to living in regular routine, and marriage kind of forces that.
I guess, and plus celebrities, they see a bunch of many temptations everywhere. Beautiful people, beautiful things, beautiful opportunity, right? Like it's not like you say, it's not regular people's routine.
Well, especially in that scenario where everything is being made to look better than it may or may not be.
Yeah.
Everything's being dressed up and being beautified, and there may or may not be something actually behind that.
Plus, though, I don't know who gets more exposure. For example, a regular couple gets divorced. No one's going to really report that as a media. But when the celebrities get divorced, of course, they're going to, make a news about it.
Yeah.
I don't know which is actually, I don't know, regular people or celebrities have higher rate of divorce. I don't actually know.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it's just something we think there's a lot, and maybe it's the same, but we just talk about it more. You see photos of it.
There'll be definitely more temptation. That's for sure.
It does feel like there would be, especially because then you have status, which means people are trying to come out to you and like, hey.
You have the billboards, like gold digging for story over the billboard.
Okay, I don't know this one.
You should check. Bill Burr was basically saying that when you become a celebrity or successful man, you'll be just tons of whores trying to take your money and do like horizon or something. You should really listen to it. It's very funny.
I don't understand why that seems to affect men, but you never really see that from the woman's perspective. Like, why do we never hear about thousands of men chasing a celebrity woman? I don't hear about this, but it's probably still a thing, wouldn't it be?
I think guys are easier to be seduced, right? Like, you get in trouble much easier. Like, so Arnold Schwarzenegger in Bill Burr's story, that he was being, he became an actor, he was a bodybuilder, became an actor,
Well, he was considered to be a very attractive man with all the muscles, and
and then one day he fucks a maid, and that's just that's it. That's it for the divorce, right? You don't.
That's right. That was a funny story. I don't know why, but something about that was very amusing.
I don't know, called it Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's called Terminator. He terminated himself.
Something about that guy getting in trouble for that just seems so preposterous. Come to this country, movie star, Mr. Universe several times over, governor, and then he gets taken down by sleeping with his own mate. What?
Easy, just one mistake, and then done. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that guy's probably had a lot of opportunity when you think about it.
Sure. I mean, I guess maybe was his wife also successful?
Was she? I think he was married to a Kennedy, right?
That's right. Fuck yeah.
So she was a big deal. She's not some average Joe.
Well, yeah.
She's royalty, essentially. She's the American version of royalty.
Right. Okay. So the question is, why are there not many guys who are trying to take advantage of her? Right.
Well, no. My question is, why do we not hear about it? Is it because it's not actually happening, or is it just because it's not interesting to talk about? What is that?
Some people know that love is not enough. It's to sustain the life together. You gotta have more to that. And that might, in the end, that might help to keep your love to him too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think for guys' perspective, if a woman gets promoted, sure, she is still sexy. I don't think I would say she's more secure, therefore she's sexy. I don't think I would see that. It's more like,
that's security. Ooh. Mm.
Yeah. I think guys have more like a mentality to conquer. Like if guys find some girls on the higher position, then I think the drive is the following, which is this, all right, I want to go up there and I want to conquer her. kind of stuff. I think that's the mentality that lays underneath our subconscious level.
I think in the bottom of their mind, they're realizing this particular woman is not going to be an easy target. It's going to be a work. So I have to think of it in terms of effort now.
Exactly. And I guess that in doing that, I want to prove that my biological value is higher. Maybe, and that kind of ego is what makes you a dick, I think.
I think that women like that idea, though, too, that the man has to prove himself to her. I think women really like that.
Right, that competitive idea, right? That competitive feature.
Well, it's something about, I think, a woman like the idea that they have they have a guy who has to earn her. Like he has to work for her.
Yeah,
I think women like that.
You gotta dance for.
Yeah, you gotta do your mating dance. You gotta be good at it. You gotta check off all these boxes.
Exactly. Right.
I'm not sure that works the other way around though, which is interesting. I don't think guys are like, the girl has to earn me.
Yeah, that seems pretty.
That seems bad somehow.
That seems very untraditional.
Somehow that seems wrong to say that. Like, this girl's gotta earn. She's gotta be at least this and gotta work for it to even be worth my time. That sounds bad.
But I think that doesn't sound really successful on dating, at least, right? But when you are choosing a spouse, I hear that kind of talking too sometimes. Like, a girl has to be able to clean up her room, or a girl has to be able to.
Well, the irony is that if you have a long-term relationship, marriages, you want that. You want them to both work to be worth each other's time, to earn it, and to both commit in that sense. But we seem to, before the marriage part, we seem to look for. I mean, the girl, and I guess in a sense, the girl is the smarter one, because she's thinking the guy has to earn it. He has got to show me that he's worth my time. The guy doesn't seem to have that perspective at all. He's like, I'll take the girl because she looks pretty. That's all I need. That's good enough.
That seems to be.
So it seems like the guy's in the wrong if you're looking in a marriage perspective.
Sure, like I guess that's why there are different types of apps. Like some apps, like, for example, OkCupid, I think you can kind of really specify what kind of girls we want, right?
Yeah.
At least in the other format. And yeah.
Like, from that perspective, it seems like it would be better off if everyone thought like the long-term relationship women perspective.
Yeah, that sounds.
But the problem is that the guys don't think like that.
Yeah, but again, I guess so. Like, if you really focus on maintaining the marriage as a whole thing. Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
So here's one of the things that I always was kind of curious about. We think that status and security seems to be an attractive factor to females. But there's also the factor where a guy has so much money, he doesn't have to have the job anymore.
Yeah.
Now that somehow, I was always kind of curious, that doesn't seem to be that attractive. Unemployed rich guy doesn't seem as attractive as guy with power in prestigious position, but not that rich.
And I also would argue that kind of guys, I don't know if they are working like a labor job, but I think they have a business going on, right? To be that rich, they have some business going on, and so they've done their part to make that happen. So that should give you, unless you are living off like heritage from your parents, that would be different. But I think that's rather very minor. But most of the rich guys that we see on the media, I think they've won somewhat of a competition to that part. So that should give you some idea of competency to be in that position. Like Donald Trump, he still has his business going, right? I think. No?
Well, I mean, essentially, until he was presidency, he just won everything.
Yeah.
Win.
Yeah, until the part that it's becoming a snowball to him, right? But that applies to many guys who are rich. Like, he works so hard and smart, and then to the point where the business keeps going by itself.
Yeah. Yeah. He somehow achieved this perpetual engine, money-making machine that keeps printing.
Yeah, Elon Musk, he still has to do some work, like some signing a paper, maybe.
Yeah, well, he's already made it now, but I mean, yeah, for the most part, he was working for it for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Do women find like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and Warren Buffett, are those sexy people? Like,
They're extremely sexy people.
I don't know. I like it. It doesn't. There seems to be a little disconnect. You don't see them on GQ, sexiest man. You know?
But but different. But this it's just that there are multiple types of sexy, right?
There's more than one kind of sexy. There's Ryan Reynolds sexy, where he has looks, he has charm, and he has wealth, and he has fame. Whereas there's Jeff Bezos, who has power and money, but that's it.
But less sexier, maybe with Ryan Reynolds. But still, sexier than me for sure. That fucking broke guy in Japan, it's not good. It doesn't sound good.
Well, the irony, though, is that a lot of relationships are really, it's not so much like this person has this thing. It's more just this weird balance of chemistry and...
Sure.
Right? And that seems to be really important as well. But we don't look for those things because you can't look for it. You don't know what it is.
Yeah, you don't know what it is until you meet and spend time.
Yeah. Like your best friend, whoever that is, you have this chemistry, and that you can't look for that on an app. I'm looking for chemistry. Yeah, what does that mean? Right?
And if you live in a mechanical relationship, it's just not fun. Every day, it's not fun.
Yeah,
right? That's why you want to avoid that, because you don't want to live in a house.
Yeah,
with someone who doesn't like you. It's not fun.
It also seems like humor seems to be really involved in chemistry. If you don't have chemistry, you don't seem to laugh very much.
Yeah, that's it. Like, again, that goes to the shitty job as well. If you're having a shitty job, but if you love people working with you, then you tend to stay with that job for a long time, whether it's good or bad. Opposite happens. If you love what you do, but you hate people who are working with you, then they tend to leave much sooner than the earlier case.
Would you take a job where you got paid way less, but you like the people way more, compared to a job that paid way more, but you didn't like them very much?
I would doubt I would take, but if I had it, like if I had two different jobs like that, then I think the result would be I'll be working longer for the job that better people.
Somehow you get two job descriptions. Job description A is, this job will pay $100,000. You will hate your coworkers. Job description 2, you'll be paid, I don't know, maybe half of that, a third of that, but you will love working here.
I think the irony is that I might take the job that I hate, and I quit immediately and earn a good amount of money. And then at the same time, I would take the job that I hate and I work long term and I would earn the same amount of money. You know what I mean? I think that's what happens. And also, though, I would establish deeper connection with people who I work more, right? So that might come as a bonus in the end. Which so
in the end, you still pick the bad job, though, right?
I don't know. I guess that depends on where I am financially speaking and career wise. But that one thing I know is I would stay longer for the job that I hate with better people than the job that I love with shittier people, I think.
Yeah, it's true. We do stay with bad things if there's money somehow.
I will stay, but I think I will stay with the shitty job much longer than the shitty people. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I know exactly what you mean.
This is hard though, because people is part of the job. Like it's
the whole job. Most jobs.
Yeah, it's hard to argue like this.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
A lot of jobs where you go, especially the high paying jobs, they don't really know how to assess your skills. They don't like maybe when I talk about lawyers, for example, everyone who goes into a lawyer interview who's actually already like they're already a lawyer. The firm itself, they're just looking for fit. They already assume you know your stuff. They're not assessing that at all. They assume that by the time you walk in the door, you probably already you know your stuff inside and out. All they want to know is, can I work with you for 14 hours a day? That's what they really want to know.
Yeah. Another example is you are sharing a room with someone. Best room ever. Best house even. People are so shit. They're just maniac, fucked up guys. But the best house, best location. If you bring a girl, she'll be able to she'll be so into fucking you in that house because it's the best house.
The best looking house. It's the best.
The opposite is that it's just shitty house, just the worst toilet, washroom, smells like fucked up shit. But you live with one of the best people. They might most attractive people. They might fuck you even. But just the house is awful shit. Not even a house. You live better without it, but you have to be there. Which one would you choose? I don't know. It's a funny thing.
Well, I've lived in a crappy place. You didn't know my first place. It was a dump. When I first moved, I didn't have a place to stay at. So I walked I was crashing on a friend's couch because I didn't have a house. I had all of my furniture in my car because I'd driven across the country. Yeah. And so I had 1 week to find a place on my friend's couch, and then they were going to kick me out. I'm like, you being here, you got to go. You got to find somewhere. So I was literally going to landlords and houses and saying, I need to move in today. Yeah. Which means that they kind of know that they can charge whatever they want.
Yeah, sure.
Because I'm desperate. I'm literally desperate. I'm going to be living in a car, which that's not really feasible because I had all my stuff in the car as well.
Yeah.
So at one point I came to a landlord. I was looking at a place and I walked into the wrong house.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, is this the place for rent? And the guy comes out the house and he says, no, but I do have a place somewhere else. So I went to the wrong house. That happens to be a landlord. He takes me to his property. This place is a dump. Holy crap, it's a dump. There's everything's filthy. Everything's overgrown. There's grass growing all over the things. When you go into the basement, you realize it hasn't been cleaned. This could have been like a murder scene, and you wouldn't disbelieve it. Like this could have been anything.
That's very illegal not to clean up your house as a landlord, you know.
Well, he wasn't even expecting guests. That's the thing. So he hadn't bothered to clean the house, right? So, anyway, I take it. I'm like, here's how much money I have. I need to move in. He's like, I will take your money. So he charged me like 2 or 3 times what I should have been paying. And then I paid on like a month-to-month basis. Yeah. And what I discovered when I went in there is there's mold. There's mold everywhere. And it's furry mold.
Green carpet.
There's fur on the walls, man. There's fur on the everything.
You got some nice.
That is filthy, nasty. Yeah, it was gross, but I stuck with it because I didn't have any other options. So would I take that, but have really good roommates?
You're the best. They will do whatever you want.
Best roommates.
The best roommates. They might give you opportunities as a career. Which, by the way, if they give you like the career opportunity, then you might be able to get away from that house rather soon. But we don't know that yet. But just the best people. Just like, I don't know, Tom Cruise.
You're with your soulmates essentially in this place.
Yeah, and you get to live with, Brad Pitt. For some reason, they are there.
You get to live with Robin Williams or whoever your idol is.
Yeah. Girl, whoever.
Yeah.
Like you said.
Oh, well, so here's the question that I guess is not really can't ask that. How long are we there?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like the question is how, like that has to be also your conditions, right? Like how long?
We're saying a year?
Yeah.
Like at least a year, right? Well, locked in at least.
Yeah. Also, this is not that good because this analogy is not that good because you can kind of improve your place. So of course you choose better people and improve the location.
So many. Why don't you just fix up your damn house?
the best people.
Yeah, you with the best people. You still live in filth. What's going on here?
Okay, fine. What if it was prohibited? What if it was forbidden to make it?
I don't know. For some reason, you have to live in filth, but you get great people.
You can't even use the Febreze. You can't even use the stuff to improve the smell. Like that's.
I think deep down I know the answer is still is better to live with the good roommate because I've lived with the scenario where you had bad landlords,
right?
And that's awful. That's terrible.
Yeah,
it's really, really bad.
Tell me about it. Yeah, it's like, yeah, of course it's bad. But do you have to talk to them though?
Well, I think in the scenario that we're putting here is maybe you live with the landlord. Landlord's terrible. Yeah, you share the same building with that guy. It's awful to deal with that. I think it's definitely better to be with the people who are enjoyable. And that's the same thing with work. If you work with the boss who's awful and you work with coworkers who are awful, you go into work every day and you're just going to be miserable.
Yeah.
Like, is that worth getting paid more?
But if you live in the best house, if the landlord room the shitty guys.
Yeah.
Like, what if they check out? Like, what if they die one day? Then
what if you take them out mysteriously?
You live in the hope that
they suddenly disappear.
Well, you could make the move, Joshua. Okay.
What would you pick? Where would you go?
It's tough one, eh?
I think you got to pick the filth, man. You got to go with the best people.
I might be still, yes, that I know the value of it, but I might still try to live in the best house and see how it is, and see how it is.
You have to pick the hard road first.
Yeah, and then because it goes back to the condition that I brought up, the smell. That goes to, okay, so the dating. Would you date someone who has the worst smell but the best look, or just the worst, not the worst look, but just you don't want to meet her, but she has the best smell? And I think for the dating, I think it's obvious, but let's say you live with her, and which gets harder, I don't know which is harder.
Well, so there's two things, and they both seem to counteract each other. One is that offensive smell, I think you do get used to it after a while.
Can you though? There are some smells that you cannot get used to.
Well, let's say you're a garbage man. You get used to that after a while.
Because that's your garbage, right?
No. You're a garbage man. You get used to that. You do it every day. It's bad, but you still get used to it.
How do you know they're used to it?
Because otherwise they would just suffer their whole career. Just never-ending suffering.
Again, you might hate the job, but you might like the people around you. Then they might be doing it every day, suffering for you.
They have to get used to that smell, man. There's no way you could tolerate always being offended.
Okay, so let's assume let's make two scenarios. One, you get used to it. Another, she produces the smell every day. So go.
I think you can't live in a bad smell, man. I don't think you can handle that.
Yeah, but like, what if, right? It may not be only her. It could be the stuff that she eats.
It could be your dog. Could be whatever.
Yeah, she could be eating the dog shit.
Yeah, maybe she's just a really, really bad chef.
Side note, I had a dream another day.
Do tell.
I had to hook up with like 70 years old.
How was that?
It was a heavy makeup. I had to. It's not like I had to for some reason.
This was the only option.
I was kissing her and then I just suffered immensely.
Oh, it's a shame you weren't into her. Then it could have been opened up a whole new avenue of possibilities.
I can't do this. And then I woke up. So I guess I died. But anyway. Well,
you died.
According to the logic of Inception, you wake up when you die in your dream. So it must be true.
You kissed the old woman, you died.
She was wearing so much heavy makeup and smelled weird. Well,
there's a show called Brickleberry. Heard of the show?
No.
No. One of the characters in it, he's a young guy, and he's really, really into old women. And because of that, it's very easy for him to find love because there's.
You don't want to be. I can't say I am attracted. I'm attracting old women too. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not that confident. But
if you could, it would make things a lot simpler.
I assume. No, like I'm not saying I'm not attracted to old women. I'm saying I don't know if old women are attracted to me.
Oh, I think so. Why would that not be?
I just don't have much to offer. Maybe that's the thing. I should be more confident. Anyway, keep going. Yeah.
No, I don't know, man. I don't see why people. So we have a bias towards people that are older for some reason, which isn't entirely sure why that is. We can examine that. But I don't see why someone older than you wouldn't find you attractive. I think that's totally fine.
I think it's fine. Yeah, I take it back. I think it's fine.
I think it's totally valid too. Why would that not happen? It's probably. I mean, we always hear about old men dating young women.
Yeah.
So that means old men are attracted to young women. So why would old women not be attracted to young men? Of course, they're attracted to young men.
Like I think maybe it's a programming because you want to make kids. You want to do something to make kids.
Well, that doesn't mean that the young woman are attracted to the old man. That doesn't mean that. It just means the old man likes the woman.
But younger women can still reproduce, right?
Yeah, well, I guess we do hear every now and then of young women attracted to like college professors. That seems to be like a thing. And those are usually old dudes.
Yeah, can you imagine? Like, if you are still good looking, like a George Clooney in university, like amount of temptation that you have. I think again that goes to the illusion of power too. I guess a bit. Like you think you are attractive, and you might be in fact attractive to some women in the college.
Well, George Clooney's a weird example. He's actually attractive, right?
George Clooney is fucking attractive. I think he's rather attractive now than before.
Yeah, that guy ages well.
Yeah, that's it. Like ages well.
Maybe that's the appeal too. They know, like, hey, my kid will age looking like that guy.
Plus, if you age well, then that implies not only the security but also the experience, the physical pleasure that he might be able to offer you. You know, like
my kid could look like George Clooney. Ooh.
Ultimate alpha male. George Clooney. But anyway, so what's your choice if you smell about the smell?
No, I don't think you could handle a terrible. So here's the thing. I think that smell would wait over time though. After a while, you get used to the smell.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I think after a while you get used to the good looks too, and then the looks wouldn't mean anything to you.
Yeah.
So I think they both have dwindling effects.
Okay. Fine.
So I think you're gonna wind up closer to the middle ground in both scenarios.
Yeah. All right. So then going back to marriage. So if two choices, right? So the best marriage deal, super rich, whatever, he'll pay whatever you want, and or she'll pay you whatever you want. But just the awful chemistry. Like every time you cross him, you just get depressed, you want to kill yourself. Or you live in the shitty slum, like just awful human pit, poverty, abyss. But the best chemistry. And he's trying so hard every day to get out of that abyss where you just don't know where you can get out. And you're also trying so hard. And that trying so hard together is what, making you guys going forward. But right now, you live in the place that is worse than any battlefield.
Well, I think the problem with that is then if you're living in filth, that means the rest of your life is filth too.
Maybe, but you might be able to get out. Who knows? And also the other case, the worst chemistry thing, he might change one day. Who knows, right? Like you don't know. But like, what do you think?
No, I don't think so. I don't think that changes. If you have bad chemistry, I've never seen it just flip. And you're like, wow, this is now my best friend. I've never seen that.
Hey, he gets shot in the head and then one day he changes. But like,
it's one of those strange things where if you have bad chemistry with someone, it seems very difficult to suddenly become besties. It seems your bestie friends are usually pretty good from the start.
I guess so. I mean, also, I guess the chemistry is developed over time, too. Right? Like one day, when you recognize the chemistry, that's usually some certain time is spent to that point, no? Like, sure, we click in the beginning, but I think you sometimes develop further.
Well, actually, I have a friend who I've known since kindergarten. And kindergarten to all of kindergarten and all of elementary, I just thought it was weird.
Oh, yeah.
But we always happened to end up going to the same schools together. So in high school, we were still in the same school together.
Yeah.
And something about that, just the fact that we knew each other so long, like the reason that I found him weird, I still knew he was weird, but because I'd known him so long, I accepted it.
Yeah.
And now we're totally fine with each other. So I think maybe you're right. There is a certain point where you just accept the other person, but you might have rejected it in the beginning.
Or opposite, right? Like you sometimes click in the beginning, but sometimes chemistries wear off.
Well, this is a scenario where it's not romantic, so it's easier to just accept someone and you're like, okay, that's guys like that. Yeah. But there's no downside for me for accepting it. But if I was married to him, it would be very different because like I gotta deal with this crap, right?
Yeah, forever, right? And so, I mean, isn't that the thing? So if the chemistry can wear off, then shouldn't the chemistry also be able to enhanced?
Yeah, you're right. So many factors. Holy crap!
You can go down. You should be able to go up too, right? I don't know.
So many factors. There's just no rules. There's everything you try to make a case for it. There's always something that's changing.
But with all that like condition, so like you have the worst chemistry at the moment, and probably from the beginning. Up to
sure.
You. But what do you think?
The smell still?
Yeah, smell. Okay, so smell is the best. I don't know. Should the smell be the part of the chemistry or should the smell be part of the marriage deal? I don't know.
Can you have bad smell and good chemistry? Do you think that works?
Like mediocre smell. Mediocre smell.
Bad smell, good chemistry. Good smell, bad chemistry. I think you got to go with chemistry.
I mean, if you hate him, I guess the smell is part of it. Like,
well, you're going to be miserable if you're with someone with no chemistry. That's no good. That's why people get divorces.
Sure, but you love him so much. There's a chemistry, but just the condition right now you are in, surroundings. Like you get attacked all the time from a neighbor. Like you
got to live in a third world country, but you get to be with your soulmate, and you have to live in a slum somewhere.
It's not even a slum. It's like a fourth world. It's like a fourth dimension. It's like a colonized Mars. That
oh my god! Gotta live on Mars where there's nothing to do, but you get to be with your soulmate, or you get to live here with a regular good life, but you have to be with someone you hate.
Something like that.
Yeah. It sounds good to say that you're gonna be with the soulmate, but I think realistically that's gonna wear off eventually. There's a movie called Old Guard. Did you see this one?
I think I did. Let's see.
It's on Netflix. And the premise is that
I watched
the premise is there's a whole bunch of people who are immortal.
I hate it.
Yeah, and so for them to find their soulmate, I mean, it doesn't really matter because they're gonna die before they die off. So they get like lots of chances to do whatever they want. And then there's two of them. Two of them are gay with each other, and they think they're soulmates for each other.
They are though. Yeah.
So in that scenario, I guess it makes sense to be with the soulmate, but that's because they get to live forever, both of them.
Yeah, they kind of stuck with each other, but I think that the answer might be both, right? I guess like sometimes your situation is good, sometimes your situation is bad. Sometimes you have chemistry, sometimes you don't. I think that's the way, Like the idea that Disney portrays is that you find your soulmate, you find your princess or prince, and then you live forever for good. But I mean, that's what we fantasize about. And I think, some people do find it, funny enough, and some people don't.
Maybe it should be like this. Maybe we've been approaching marriage a little bit off. Like, we think that marriage is important because we have kids.
Yeah.
But maybe we should reevaluate and it's when there's kids, you should be married. When the kid moves out the house, then you should have to renegotiate that contract.
Sure, I think that's another way, right?
And then you could say, okay, what do we really? We can check out these terms again and see.
That's why some couples don't get married. I think that's the real evaluation is happening now. I think again we are in the transitional thing now, especially in Canada. I don't know if it's happening like that in Japan. Some open relationship you hear sometimes in Japan too, but yeah, I don't know.
Because then no one's getting hurt. Well, I mean, you're still going to have hurt feelings maybe. But I mean, the kid itself, it's no longer really your responsibility once they moved out of the house. That's kind of done.
I heard the story that a couple in Japan, they decided that they can have sex with whoever they want.
Oh, yeah?
But they would, so that they can keep this marriage together. Because pretty much that seems to be what is giving problem to Muslim marriage. And in fact, but that's the traditional sense of loyalty, right? You don't fuck with anyone else.
Yeah, you as soon as you do that, that's infidelity. It's a reason to break up. Yeah.
Yeah, but they want to keep this marriage and they want to keep the house together.
But then why do they get married then? What's the point? Right? Because
they are again, I guess it goes back to the kid, or they also don't want to root because they still love each other, I think.
Yeah. But what's the point of the marriage then? Why don't they just stay together? Why do they need the marriage if they're going to sleep with each other and sleep with other people?
People, right? Yeah.
What is the benefit? There's no stability then, right? The stability's still gone.
I think stability is that because they still live together, right? And I think they do need each other in many cases. Like, I think the deal is that, fine, they would fuck whoever they want. But they find, I mean, that's also another challenge to them too, right? For them, it's it can be challenging. Because what if they fall in love with someone else and keep the relationship together with that person while this marriage is happening?
Hi, honey, here's your new husband. You have share the house with another dude.
But I think that's the thing. So like the idea of you can or you cannot, I think that's what they'll be more relaxed about it, right? Like they'll be more relaxed about it. Therefore, there'll be less stress.
Yeah.
About their marriage, maybe.
Well, here's the other thing: is that we didn't used to live that long.
Yeah.
We were only around to like 40 years.
Yeah. 30 years, 40 years. Yeah,
So getting married is like, that's like 30 years maybe.
yeah, that's right. Yeah. Not like 50 years, not like half a century.
Now we're living to, I think, hundreds right now, and I don't think that's going to be the same number when we're old.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be much higher when we're old. You're looking at like several different 18-year spans of where you could have had different kids with different people.
Yeah. The difference is that like when they were living for like up to 30 or 40 years old, sure, the marriage is shorter. Yeah. But they can kind of, I think they aged well. Like they, you know what I mean? I don't know if the 40 years old at that time is equivalent to 80 years old now. I don't know how they died of age.
Yeah, they just go white hair much faster.
Do you think so? Like, so do you think they were like gray? They had gray hair for like only 5 years towards.
Yeah, that seems strange, doesn't it? That doesn't sound right.
Which is, I don't know, but
they had to. They had to have been that way.
Yeah, let's say 10 years. So like, let's say from 30 to 40 years old, you get gray hair and you get old and you die. You just exploit yourself.
Yeah, you suddenly just completely disintegrate.
Now, it's magnified. So you are like 30 to 40 years old. The idea that you have to spend the rest of your life for 50 fucking years or 70 years, that's a bit depressing, right?
Well, that's where you're like, you meet someone, you're like, let's get married after 6 months. That's crazy. You're going to spend the next 90 years together.
It's crazy. Or do you think, another question, do you think you're more attractive than Donald Trump?
Me more sexy.
Are you?
Am I more sexy than Donald Trump? Before or after presidency?
Attractive.
Before or after presidency?
I don't know. As of now, this moment, do you think you're more attractive than Donald Trump? You know?
Well, I have less people out to attack me. So, I mean, that's probably quite appealing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I think before presidency, I think Donald Trump was considered a very sexy man.
Interesting.
I think people were like, this guy, he's got everything. He's a winner.
Yeah.
And so I think people thought he was very attractive. I'm not so sure now if people think that anymore. I think there's so much chaos that's happened after being the president that I think he may have damaged that.
Long time ago when he was in president, I met someone. She's so hot. She's really sexy. Violently sexy kind of look.
He's offensively sexy.
I'm like, wow, she's so beautiful. Anyway, she has a boyfriend. And I was like, her boyfriend should be a really attractive guy.
Yeah.
Okay, who is more attractive than him? Like Brad Pitt, maybe? Or Tom Cruise?
More attractive than who?
Than her boyfriend.
Oh, more attractive than the boyfriend. Okay, yeah.
No, I don't know. But,
yeah.
Okay, let's say there is Jacob. But who is more attractive than him? Maybe Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, these guys. Who is more attractive than Brad Pitt or Tom Cruise? I don't know, President of America? President of the United States, maybe? Okay, fine, Donald Trump. Am I more attractive than Donald Trump? If I am, to some people, then that means am I more attractive than her boyfriend?
I see the logic. I see you're going to logic your way into being the boyfriend. I like it.
It's a broken logic, you know. It's not circle. Nothing is ever a circle. It's more like going a different way, but it's just it was a funny exercise.
I think it works as long as she doesn't say no one's more attractive than Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Then you're just screwed.
I think he's the sexiest man.
George Clooney. No one's sexier than George Clooney. Uh-oh, you lose.
Yeah. They have enough money. They have, they seem very nice too. You know.
Will Smith or Tom Cruise. Well, yeah, I guess Tom Cruise.
I think Brad Pitt.
I think Ryan Reynolds. I think Ryan Reynolds is right now Ryan Gosling and Ryan Reynolds. Those guys are just kicking it.
Yeah. Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves. Is he sexy? I don't know.
Right, yeah, you're true. That's true.
I don't know.
Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, that's a strange case, isn't it? Women seem to like him. What's up with that?
He's so cool.
He's cool. He's macho.
Just the way he talks and the way he's confident about himself.
That's right. He has another factor as well that seems to be adding to it.
Very relaxed individual, right?
Yeah, something about that. All right.
Yeah.
That's true. That seems to be appealing.
Tom Hardy, I think he's very attractive.
Tom Hardy. It's
a bit scary though. It's a bit scary. I want to work with him. I want to work with him and see what's up.
I'm the sexiest man, Batman.
I guess I want to be liked by him. I think that's it. I want to be admired by him. I want to make him. I want to impress him. I think that's what makes me.
Yeah, I don't think it would be the same if you had Brad Pitt, identical looking guy, but he has no success.
There probably is though. There is probably someone like that.
Yes.
But he should be somewhat successful on Tinder.
No. In this case, we have like almost a twin, but he has no success. He's just a minimum wage dude.
Yeah, financially, yes, maybe that might be the case. But in terms of dating, I think he's somewhat successful if he's identical looking.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
Matthew McConaughey, identical looking guy. No success, but still got the confidence.
Sure. Yeah. If he can generate the confidence, I think he should be really attractive. The identical dude, the doppelganger of Brad Pitt.
What about some nice, confident woman? How about that?
Yeah.
That sounds appealing, right?
That does sound appealing. Although I can also see how some guys find inconfident girls to be very attractive. Because you feel like you can control. You feel like you can easily impress her or something like that. That's another drive to guys, right? Yeah.
And also, confident in that case is like not just powerful. It's like confident. There seems to be a difference between the two.
Like more like happy kind of thing.
Yeah.
Not depressed. Yeah. I think that logic should be applied to guys too. You don't want to be always over humble, I think. Which I kind of do sometimes. I gotta be able to project some confidence, I think.
It seems to be a fine balance between humble and being not confident. It seems to be there's a line there somewhere.
Like, can you be confidently humble? Like, you don't brag yourself. You don't talk,
sure.
I do this. But you can also be confidently accepting. But also, you don't necessarily always, I do this. No, like that,
But there's always the guy as well who's like, I'm not good at this. And like, that's humble, but he's not confident.
Or you could be confidently say, like, I'm not good at this. He's good at it. But I think the way you say it really matters there. I think. I once heard that this guy at the wedding party, he said, I am a photographer. I am not the photographer, but I am a photographer. But he was very confident when he said that, I was like, all right, well, that's very smooth.
I'm not good at anything, but I'm quite confident about it.
Yeah, at least you know.
I'm very certain about it.
Very certain. This I'm certain. I have this certainty.
I'm absolutely confident that I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Dead sure.
Yeah, I think that would make any laugh. That's very funny statement.
I know exactly how much I'm incapable of doing.
That's funny though. At least it's funny. Like, because if you say it in a negative way, like I don't know, I'm doing. That's just no.
Nah, that's no good. That's not sexy.
It's not even funny. Very
a loser.
That's so sad. You're looking for sympathy to it. But if you say like very confident in that, I don't know. Like,
I have no clue what's going on, but I'm slightly aroused.
Exactly. At least you're not defeated, right? That, yeah.
Yeah, defeated is somehow that's not sexy.
Yeah.
Defeat is somehow very unattractive.
Oh, sexy implies winning, no? Doesn't it? Like sexy implies some sort of success there. Like, yeah. Although some girls might find a defeated guy to be very sexy.